Better to reign in hell than serve in heaven, is that it?
Hey everyone, Diavolo here, and in today's video we are going over the emergence of one of Chainsaw Man's most terrifying and heavily anticipated devils so far, the Final Horseman and the eluded being who will plunge the world into darkness, the Death Devil. So of course, sit back and chill out as we continue on to what will be the Death Devil arc. Sliding a picture across the table, Yoshida reveals to the others that Seigi, Katana Man, Haruka and Nobana are prisoners of public safety now, though he remarks that Denji probably doesn't care about them. Baffled, Denji recounts what happened. While Pochita was in control, everyone but the people in this room were captured by public safety. Pochita ended up losing his battle against Asa, who herself destroyed most of Tokyo with the Statue of Liberty. This, alongside her regenerated arms, makes Denji feel as if there's something not exactly right with her. Bursting out in laughter, War sees it's a fitting time that she may as well reveal her true identity. Looking at Denji, she finally divulges her role as the War Devil and Asa's second personality. But just before we do go any further, if you've ever thought about jumping into Raid Shadow Legends, now's the perfect time because new players can get not one, but 2 legendary and 2 epic champions for just starting out. Seriously, these are some of the best starter rewards I've ever seen Raid actually give out. And speaking of legends, say hello to Leminisi the Gold-wing, a brand new legendary champion just released this month. She's a radiant force of light with powerful shield break abilities and the skill to strip enemy buffs. She dominates in both PvE and PvP, and yeah, well, her design is freaking stunning, just take a look at her. You can unlock Leminisi for free just by logging in for 7 days between July 3rd and August 20th. But don't wait, as you need to start your login streak before July ends to qualify. Now myself, well, I've been playing Raid Shadow Legends for years now, and I still get super hyped opening ancient shards, especially during those 2x events, because who doesn't love doubling up? So here's the deal, click my link in the description or scan my QR code and you will immediately get a huge starter pack with the epic champion Tallia. Then, once you start jamming, you'll get another starter pack after reaching level 15 that includes the epic champion Drake. Also, if you're a new player, you can choose from one of 4 promo codes to receive a legendary champion of your choice. Green Warden Ruark, Sun Wukong the Monkey King, Tuhanarak, or Tholan Foulbeard. Shout out to all my dwarves out there. And hey, I'm always looking for players to jam with, so if you do download the game and want to jam with me, make sure to add me in there as Diavolo YouTube. Thank you to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. The only reason they can even calmly drink tea right now is because Asa's mind will break if she continues taking lives. For now, she's just allowing these Muppets to live out of the palm of her hand. Hilariously, Denji, while stewing over the thought of her palm, asks her whether it was her or Asa who participated in his jelking sesh. Humoured, Yoru tells him that she'll tell him as long as he eats his own hand, to which Denji eagerly accepts, dropping to the floor. Yoshida remarks how decisive Yoru's victory against Pochita was, and as of such wonders why it is she hasn't turned him into a weapon yet. Telling Yoshida to just take a look at him, Yoru remarks how she's basically already made Denji her pet, and that she's just going to play with him a little first. Agreeing that it does sound like fun, he reminds her that he needs Chainsaw Man turned into a weapon as soon as possible. After all, her elder sister, the Death Devil, will soon descend, and currently no country has any chance in defeating her. Even Chainsaw Man and War might be unable to withstand such a force. That is, however, unless Yoru turns Denji into a mindless weapon, one that could overcome death. Denji asks himself if that's why Naoto was killed, or so he could be turned into a weapon. But Yoshida only smirks in response. He hasn't forgotten their conversation in the Aging Devil's realm, and because of it, offers Denji a deal. If he allows himself to be transformed into a weapon, he can shoot both him and Fumiko, getting some of the revenge he desires. Denji immediately tries to shoot Yoshida, but the gun is revealed to be unloaded, so it just clicks repeatedly. Yoshida says he thought Denji had really forgiven them, but Yoru interjects, telling him that humans are all about manipulation. They lie and scheme, whilst devils operate on instinct. Noticing the waitress come with their cake, she grabs it and tosses it at Yoshida's face. Denji yells at her not to waste food, but she says she can do it all because she's a devil. Before Yoshida can say anything, Yoru points a finger at him and says bang. Luckily though, she didn't actually blow Yoshida off. Instead, it's revealed she aimed at the wall next to him, blowing it apart. Grinning, she grabs Denji by his ripcord and tears him out of the cafe through the hole she just created. Obviously, because she yanked down on his cord, Denji ended up transforming into his Chainsaw Man form. Out on the streets and having heard the commotion behind them, 2 random civilians spot Denji and assume he's another Chainsaw Man wannabe. The dark-haired guy tries to ambush him, but Yoru blasts a hole through him before he could get close enough. Denji yells at her for killing a civilian, yet she calls him a hypocrite since his last plan involved murdering someone. As another human tries to call out to the two, Denji distracts her away from blowing the man off by saying he could take her out somewhere to eat. Somewhat interested by this idea, Yoru jumps into his hands and starts hysterically laughing while being carried away from the growing mob behind him. Arriving at Man Chinese restaurant, Denji notes how the place is a complete dump. Opening a freezer though, Yoru finds frozen pot stickers and offers to make them herself. Randomly interrupting the two, the manager comes flying in holding a cleaver and threatening to call the police. Actually recognizing him though, Denji says he works here, he's the manager and he could cook them up some pot stickers. Sadly though, Yoru hits him with a bang, slicing the man in two, much to Denji's horror. Not liking Denji's interference, she reminds him she said she'll be cooking for him. Later that night, both of them feast on a restaurant quality meal cooked by Yoru while enjoying the view of the fires that rage throughout the city. Denji asks Yoru if he'll ever meet the devil that caused them so much infamy, and she answers that he probably will during the Death Devil's arrival. You see, when one of the primal devils make an appearance, all of the high-ranking devils go to greet her. He asks whether or not the Control Devil will also be there, and Yoru speculates that she may. However, if she does, it won't be the same one he knew. Already understanding this aspect of devil reincarnation, Denji lets her know he also has a promise with a close friend. He's looking for the Blood Devil. Even though she was like a complete jerk, he admits they still had a ton of fun together. He laments that she's probably not going to be the same person he once knew, and that the girls, Yoru and Asa, are probably the only friends he has left. She reminds him about how all she wants is to turn him into a weapon, but he doesn't think it matters, cause for the first time in ages, he feels like he's having fun right now. Taken aback by this, Yoru rushes over and sits between a flustered Denji's legs. I can't believe the life this man's actually living. He's had so much mental manipulation that poor Denji has just given up at this point. After the two end up hooking up for a bit, Yoru questions if he's dead set on banging then. When he nods, she gives him her new terms. Defeat the Death Devil, and he gets, well, yeah, it's pretty damn identical to what Makima had told him back in the first saga. If he fails though, she'll turn him into a weapon and defeat death herself. Also, I just want to thank all of the people who ended up donating or joining the Patreon after I gave that story about what happened to my tooth a few videos back now. I think it was during the One Punch Man one. Crazily enough, I ended up getting sick, as you could probably tell by halfway through this video, my voice changing to far deeper than it normally is and me sounding like this now. And in an even wilder event than me losing my tooth, my mum's house, you know, how she came through clutch and everything. Shout out Mumsy again. Everyone leave her a comment down below because she watches these videos and absolutely loves reading the comments. But her house sadly freaking caught on fire. Leave some comments down below, just wishing Mumsy, you know, some love, because unexpected events like this, you never know when they're going to happen, but they do, they just catch you by complete surprise. Life is, it's not the easiest thing. But either way, moving on. Later that night, Denji wakes up and notes he couldn't sleep due to his libido, so he decides to get up. Seeing the girl sleeping, the only person who likes him, Denji goes to touch her before, like a complete Chad, tucking her into bed. Walking past the television, a report states that 900 people died in the fires the prior nights, while 3,800 are still missing. Knowing full well about how dangerous Yoru is, he tells Pochita to watch out since she'll probably screw him over later down the line. Firing up the stove and pouring in some oil, Denji starts frying up a few pot stickers. Yoru eventually wakes up as well, and after walking back to the restaurant, encounters Denji eating near that murked chef. Elsewhere in the city though, near the high school, Yoshida tells Fumi and Fami that they only have 1 month till the Death Devil descends. And the time before that, he requests Fami help them out on a few things, since the Chainsaw Devil's last rampage has left a huge gap in public safety staffing. I'm actually kind of glad to see public safety starting to suffer. In the past, they seemed just invincible with this infinite flow of staff, and I'm also curious if other nations will ever intervene, like China or the US, ones that have, you know, featured in the story already. Anyways, back to the story. After thinking on the proposal for a moment, Fami refuses due to being on the school's planning committee for the festivities on Tokyo Revival Day. Utterly disgusted with this, Fumiko can't believe she prioritizes school when humanity's existence is at stake. Yoshida offers to take her place on the committee so she can help them, but Fami refuses, saying she has friends on the committee. Fumiko snaps, should the Death Devil win, then it won't matter because her friends would also be dead. Unconcerned with their pathetic ramblings, Fami stands up and explains she likes to enjoy new experiences, new food, and new people. She recently hung out with Asa and Denji, who were fun to be around since they had dumbass faces. Being around these two isn't exactly what you'd call fun though. The group stand there silent for a moment before it's then interrupted by the arrival of Fami's two friends. Immediately, they pick Fami up and steal her away to plan the festival. Fumiko gets up and asks Yoshida if they should stop her from leaving, but he's still hung up over Fami's comments about him not being any fun. Over in the destroyed part of the city, Yoru was having more fun with Denji by destroying the derelict buildings with her finger gun. Blown away with her level of devastation, Denji asks her to destroy another one, but before she can fire, Asa regains control and points her finger gun at him. Staring a nervous Asa down, Denji simply tells Pochita he told him so. Asa reveals that she was able to kick Yoru out of her body before switching it up and then turning her own finger on herself. She quickly breaks down into tears though, repeating to herself that she can't do it. Leaning in, Denji asks if she could not aim at him all the time, but she flicks it immediately back on him and hits him with a hefty proposal. Either he kills her, otherwise she'll kill him. Utterly flabbergasted, Denji can't understand what she's smoking. Elaborating for his dumbass, Asa can tell Yoru is planning something crazy, and beating the Death Devil won't solve anything here. From what she can tell, it's something even worse than humanity's extinction. Denji asks her why she's threatening him then, but she admits it's because she's too much of a coward to just shoot herself. Breaking down, she remarks that her trying to be Yoru's friend was a dumb idea. She's an idiot who got duped. Unable to wrap his own head around his ever-spiraling world of despair, Denji thinks they can still be friends. Refuting this, she again demands he take her out now or she'll shoot him. Grabbing a chair, Denji slams it down, only just missing Asa as she fell over backwards. Confused because she dodged this, Bro listens as she calls him a murderer, even though, as Denji points out, she just wanted him to kill her a few seconds ago. Sitting there, Asa admits she's not mentally prepared to die, and Denji completely breaks her spirit by saying that since even someone immortal like him can never be ready to come back to life, he knows nobody is truly ready to die. Slumping to the floor, Asa confesses her guilt for all of the people Yoru killed, because she simply couldn't speak up. Getting close to her, Denji says she shouldn't worry about that right now, and they should just deal with it after he violates the Death Devil. Right now, they're having fun, and she should only think about blasting a hole through one of the buildings in front of them. Over at the high school though, a teacher working with the festival planning committee is leading a new person to class, while explaining that not many people are moving to Tokyo currently. Coming to a halt just outside of the classroom, the teacher interrupts the festivity planning to introduce the transfer student to the rest of the class. Stepping up, a nervous, messy-haired girl with the same eyes of that of Makima, Nayuta and Fami announces how she's here to save them. Randomly, she then begins telling the rest of the student body that she feels really bad for them, before proceeding to bawl her eyes out as soon as the teacher leaves. A kid with an adhesive bandage on his face asks her if she wants to help with anything, which she accepts at first. But when all she's asked to do is throw the garbage into the school incinerator, she refuses due to it being a waste of her powers. She tells him that he should take it out because, unlike her, he doesn't have powers to save people with. Not wanting to start any freaking conflict with this crazy woman, he takes the garbage and walks off. As the rest of the students look at each other with discomfort, the same girl who bullied Asa tells the transfer student that everyone's starting to feel super uncomfortable around her, and that if she really wants to help, she should be squishing ants outside. The bandaged kid then finds the transfer student alone outside squishing ants. Sighing, he tells her that he could tell that due to her coming from out of town, she was probably involved in some devil-related tragedy. He lets her in on the fact that many of the students are already in a similar boat and use school as their one escape from reality, so if there was one way she could save them, it would be by smiling. The transfer student though breaks her composure by saying how the festival's on track to be a failure regardless of what happens, but she can still save them by freeing them from suffering through death, revealing herself to indeed be a devil. Resting her hand on the boy, she plans to use him as an example, but pauses as she notices a silhouette above the school. The boy, who's totally unaware of what was about to happen, recognizes it as Chainsaw Man, and he proceeds to go on a little speech, with the mysterious devil even offering to save him. But judging by how he mentions fighting with the power of justice, as well as his appearance, something just doesn't quite feel right here. The bandaged kid, no idea what bro's name actually was, stunned at Chainsaw Man and his demonic appearance, tries to defend the girl next to him by saying she was just joking around earlier. Not believing this bozo though, Justice leaps from his vantage point and demands the girl show him what she's got. The unknown devil girl throws a punch as Justice completely violates her. With a flurry of slashes, he cuts her into a bunch of bits. Unable to get over how easy that was, the fake Chainsaw Man questions if she was really the right girl. Trying to justify what happened, he states that he's never been steered wrong. He's Chainsaw Man, the devil-killing avatar of justice. It's his job to stop the prophecies, and that girl was an evil devil partially responsible for destruction. The student, on the other hand, unable to believe what just freaking happened, is understandably furious that Chainsaw Man seemingly killed a regular student. Right as they begin arguing over the mortality of the situation, the student notices the girl's forearm latch itself onto his leg. Justice screams out, telling him to get it off him, but it's too late. Moments later, the devil activates her ability and drains the life from his body. Her limbs shoot back across the room and connect, bringing the fallen horseman back from the brink of death. Quickly running some calculations, the devil can tell that due to his fighting style and how he carries himself, he must be a close-ranged fighter only. I'm honestly super surprised there that the massive Chainsaw Man head wasn't a dead giveaway that he can only fight in close range, but sticking 3 fingers forward, she tells him he will be saved in 3 seconds. Not giving her that time, Fake Saw Man launches himself in and completely eviscerates the horseman. The head, which had been flung off and landed somewhere nearby, then attempts to bribe the fake Chainsaw Man with a mere 2,000 yen. Obviously, this fails since he doesn't believe in money. He thinks it's a mere illusion created by the government to fool ignorant masses. Based? Based?
Sorry, that was a flying star. It almost got me. You know her and you love her, guys.
I will be a PTSD.
Frogan.
I will be a PTSD. I will be a PTSD. I will be a PTSD. I will be a PTSD.
Not caring about freaking conspiracy theories though, she claims there are lives to be saved here. Fake Saw Man though assumes that she means she wants to save people through death in order to ease their suffering. Feeling like he's seen it all, bro elaborates why people live in this hellish environment. It's simply because the world is full of hope. Chainsaw Man himself even came back from hell in order to protect mankind's hope and to drag worthless beings like her back to hell. Calling out her true nature, he tells the Death Devil that he knows just and righteous thoughts mean nothing to them. Suddenly coming to a horrifying realization herself, the girl immediately responds by regenerating her body back and staring down the so-called Chainsaw Man. Looking at the ants on the ground, Fake Saw asks if she absorbed the lives of those ants, to which she agrees. After all, she is one who absorbs life and saves people from their suffering via death. Finally giving the fake Chainsaw Man a proper introduction, the girl says she is one of the 4 horsemen, feared by humans and devils alike. Her name is the Famine Devil, but she prefers to be called Fami. More stunned than I freaking ever was when I first read this, Fake Saw stands there utterly confused, asking if she just said Fami? Famine? Fake Saw, still physically unable to wrap his noggin around what just happened, straight up asks if she isn't the Death Devil then. Falling. Suddenly, a universal type force causes both Fami and Justice to fall directly into the floor below. Appearing next to our new Fami, Big Chefaroni, the falling devil asks what's on the menu today. The true Death Devil, who, was pretending to be Fami this entire time, someone who faked us all out for years, lets their chef make the decision. Sacrificing several bystanders and animals, Falling dishes up a blood-sauteed human and giraffe. Realizing that the faker of fakes got faked out himself, the fake Chainsaw Man asks the Death Devil if they really are Death. In a devilish display, Death begins taking off her school uniform. Turning to those in front of her, she reveals that even after she disposed of all of her organs, she still could not die. Standing there, Fallen Devil tells her boss that the duo are probably staring at her exposed underwear, which, I'm not gonna lie, is freaking wild. Fujimoto wanting to draw a camel toe isn't exactly what I expected to read during what could have been the series' biggest reveal, but either way, moving on. Death answers her sister by explaining that even if she could die, another Death Devil who would likely be less sympathetic to humans than her would take her place and destroy humanity. Fake Chainsaw Man poses the idea that she just quietly lives somewhere else. Sadly, she states that that isn't possible. On the day of the prophecy, for some random reason or another, mankind's fear of death will reach its peak, In that moment, powers dormant inside of her will activate, even if she's just sound asleep doing nothing. Knowing how to get around this, the real Famine suggests that she get eaten by Chainsaw Man, saving everyone by erasing the concept of death. Death pauses and genuinely considers it for a moment, but tells the other two that if they want to help in protecting humanity, they must work with her. Actually stoked that Death's totally not bad at all, the duo accepted on the spot. Not trying to get her ass duped though, Death rescinds the previous offer since now she's going to eat them instead. Slapping her hands together in preparation to smash back this meal, Death summons a murder of crows who rest on a nearby railing, which is, very reminiscent of Makima with her kind of crows resting on the crosses and everything. Also, while I'm editing right now, I wanted to say this eating, Death Devil's meal that she's having of the Famine Devil and this fake Chainsaw Man practically take place 100 chapters later after Denji in part 1 ate Makima, who was the Control Devil. I think it's a nice role reversal from part 1, having this time the bad person of the series, or what I'm kind of thinking is building up to be the bad guy of the series, dining this time of course on Chainsaw Man and the Famine Devil. I think it's quite cool. I'd love to know your thoughts on it down below, but I just wanted to mention that while I was editing this here. Either way, back to the video. Pulling out her cutlery, Death then proceeds to devour both the Justice and Famine Devils. Seeing the murder of crows then fly away from the scene, Falling asks her boss how the meal was, to which she says it was straight up freaking garbage. Shoving her own hands down her throat now in order to grab the meal she just ate, the Death Devil regurgitates up 2 miniature dolls of Famine and Justice. Which is, obviously something we saw happen during the Aging Devil arc, where she regurgitated, I think it was the Guillotine Devil at the time, and used him to take out a bunch of public safety agents. Curious herself, Fallen reveals that Death's power is to control those who she kills. However, she wonders if it's truly necessary to eat her victims alive. Death responds though that meat tastes best fresh, which I can't freaking lie with. You don't want to eat it when it's a day or two old and just been sitting out in the open. Tossing the 2 devil effigies onto the ground, she then summons her sister and the fake Chainsaw Man back to reality. Realizing she's back, Famine, before she's ordered to do anything, pitch slaps the shit out of her older sister. Falling immediately darts in between them and threatens to slice off Famine's head. However, Death waves her hand, getting her to stop. With Fami unable to do anything but listen, the Death Devil orders the duo to plunge mankind into an abyss of terror. Well, I can't lie, that was flippin' mental, finally catching back up on Chainsaw Man. I really did need it back in my life. I've missed binging it over the last year or so having all of these chapters to read has just been great. I've thoroughly enjoyed it so far. We still have 8 or so chapters before we do fully catch up to the actual manga and everything, but I'll cover that in another video itself. For here, I just wanted to cover, obviously, the entrance of the Death Devil and, well, the true reveal of it. She's been around for a while now. She entered the series way back towards the start of the second part, but what did you guys all think when this was first revealed? It blew my freaking mind, and I'm super happy that I finally got to this point, because a lot of people were down in the comments asking me to, cover the specific points in the series, but I didn't want to, race ahead and cover other stuff that I hadn't, like I did with Jujutsu Kaisen in the past, because then it kind of got a little bit confusing when I wanted to collaborate everything together and make these super long videos. Anyways, if you did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new around here with the bell notifications on, as it really helps in just pushing my content to a bunch of new amazing people. Also, comment down below what series you'd like me to cover next. Lastly, make sure you click my link in the description or scan my QR code to get Leminisi for free and claim all of my special anniversary rewards. Thank you to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video.